Okay, so you don't have to write a template. You don't need a template or have to buy a template. You can just simply say, hey, such and such credit card company, I've been a customer of yours for the last yada, yada, yada. I fell on some hard times and I missed a payment or two. I've since now been able to generate more income, repair that, or bring up more income. Can you please forgive these payments? Or can I send you payments to make good for that? Or what else do you have?
You just say, can you please forgive me for the late payments that's reported on my account? Like, that's it. And then that's it. Some people do it over the phone. I'm one of them people where I love going to court, but when you go to court, I can't take my phone with me. So I like doing stuff, emails and letters, but it is possible to ask over the phone, in a chat, if you're chatting with somebody, whatever makes you comfortable. But if they go ahead and agree to do it, you always want to get that agreement in writing. Remember, anything that you get in writing, text, whatever it is, from an authorized agent of a company is considered a legally binding contract. So if these people tell you they'll forgive your late payment and report that to the credit bureaus, then they legally have to abide by that agreement.
Okay. All right. So, man, we're starting off with the fire. I got to give you the horns for that. That was fire. That was fire. But, all right. So, first things first, pull your credit report, right? See anything janky, awry, wrong, incorrect, potentially file a dispute or reach out to the company, correct? Am I tracking? Am I following you?
Now, I always say when you start the dispute process, you want to eliminate all possibilities, right? So the first step when you dispute, as far as who you would send your letters to, is always the credit bureaus. And the reason why I say you start there is because what people don't realize is that it's a credit bureau's job to verify, not validate. So a lot of people will be like, oh, I sent all these letters to the credit bureaus and it didn't work. That's because you misunderstood their role in the credit reporting process. The credit bureaus just report whatever it is somebody say to them. It's like playing telephone. A company whispered in their ear about you, so now they telling everybody what the company said. So the first step you want to do is make sure that the credit bureaus are reporting exactly what was said. You can do something called a bureau reinvestigation letter. Super simple. You just say, to whom it may concern, I recently pulled a copy of my credit report and I'm noticing some inaccuracies reporting in regards to the following accounts. And you'll list all the accounts or whatever it is on your credit report that you have an issue with. And you send it off to the credit bureaus. What they're going to do is they're going to go back to each of those companies and say, yo, just so y'all tracking, this girl said y'all lying on her. And then they're going to be like, what y'all saying? You'll get a letter in the mail, or if you got an online account, they'll notify you, and some stuff will either be verified, updated, or deleted. Verified just means that they asked the company, did y'all mean to say this? And the company was like, yes. Updated means they made a change based on the new information that they received from the company. And obviously deleted means that they took it off your credit. Now, once you clear the credit bureaus and you've kind of absolved them of any responsibilities for the debt, that's when you start getting into the nitty gritty of like, what kind of dispute letters should you be sending?
What order should you be sending them in? Really understanding consumer laws and policies and things like that.
But you really just want to cross the credit bureaus off your list first, because sometimes the inaccuracies that you're seeing is a result of somebody fat fingering something in the system, and that's not even what the company said about you.
Okay. All right. So we got the letter, we got the report, we got the letters, we're looking at it for accuracy. We're looking to see what our credit profile is looking like, if it's a thin file or not. You said that instead of trying to challenge these old accounts, maybe we want to add some new ones.
Yes. So with payment history, for those of you who have like charge-offs, or if you have a lot of collections, something that could help is adding positive reporting history. Now, I'm not telling you go out and open no credit cards. I'm about to put y'all on game, right? So there's these things called alternative data.
Hold on, y'all. Put us on game. That means to get your pen and pencil. All right, I got mine. Go ahead.
When you have late payments on your credit report, because this information is not, it's not like a dollar amount that can be fact checked or something like that. All they got to do is say, here's the proof of when we got your payment. Here's the receipt, and boom, you stuck with it, right? But what you also have to realize is that that's 35% of your credit score. It's harder to dispute late payments, so you have to find a way around it. It's not going to remove the late payment, but the older a late payment is, the less of an effect it has on your score. However, if you don't add new information since the late payment, that late payment is all they got to judge you by. So you want to make sure that you're opening up new accounts consistently, showing positive history to show people like, yeah, I got a pass, but I'm changed. I'm different. I'm delivered. Right? You want to show them that you made a change. And so you want to look into something known as alternative data accounts. So usually
is that like being like a reborn virgin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Literally, it's just like that. It's just like that. And it's funny because like there are specific banks who are, we call them second chance lenders. Like Capital One is my favorite. You can mess up with Capital One, they charge your credit card off, send it to collections. About a month or two later, they'll start sending you emails like, hey, you're pre-approved for a Capital One card. And it's really cool because then you can open up another account with them, since you've made a change. But there are alternative data accounts such as rent reporting, which is you can report your rent payments to the credit bureaus as payment history. And there's a company, now I personally use BoomPay, but this company will go back as far as 2 years. So if you've struggled with on-time payments recently, you can go and add this account and it'll give you 2 years of on-time payment history, which could help you tremendously, especially those of you who are considering home buying. There's other accounts like Outro.io. I'm not sure if it's out on Android yet, but if you have the Apple, you can download the app. If not, you'll have to go on the website, Outro.io. And it's actually a credit building app that Jay-Z invested into a while back, and it used to be called Perch, right? It's run by super dope, super smart guys, Michael Broughton, super young dude out of USC. What it does is they pay your subscriptions and then you pay them. And they report your payments to them as on-time payment history to the credit bureaus. So technically, you're not spending too much more than what you were already spending to pay your bill, and you're actually getting it reported to the credit bureaus. There's all kinds of accounts that you can open up like that. There's debit cards that you can get, and as you use the debit card, it'll report on-time payment history, like the Credit Sesame Cash card. There's so many options out there that don't require you to go into debt to build credit, right? And that's key. A lot of people mess up because they get all these credit cards and lines of credit, trying to be fancy, trying to live this rich lifestyle because they think that's what's necessary to have good credit, but you don't have to do all that.
And there's so many options out there that don't require you to go into debt to build credit, right? And that's key. A lot of people mess up because they get all these credit cards and lines of credit, trying to be fancy, trying to live this rich lifestyle because they think that's what's necessary to have good credit, but you don't have to do all that. You
don't need 10, 20 credit cards. At a minimum, I would say 3 credit cards. At a maximum, if you are not using this credit card every month, you don't need it, right? And this is all just like basic stuff to keep your credit afloat, really.